what is direct to vendor marketing basically? In terms of finding deals, there are multiple ways we can find deals, which would be open market, the usual Zoopla, Rightmove, but everybody's on it. Property auctions is another one, but then you've got to know what you're buying and you'll be able to understand what's up for sale and what are the kind of flaws in the properties, because ultimately 90% of the time there's some flaws that the seller is selling in auctions for. The 10% is about the speed and the guarantee that the property is sold. So that's the second bit of where you can find deals or properties. And the third one really for me is going direct to the people who actually own them. We're just about to work on or throw out 1,000 today out of a 10,000 direct to vendor finance campaign. The idea is that you target, in our case, we're targeting landlords who've got their properties and for multiple reasons maybe looking to sell or start to sell over time. And the reason why we're approaching landlords is because A, it's B2B, so you're selling to a business really. 2, you're actually selling very quickly, or you're actually finding properties that are worth buying, that's already rented. And thirdly, everybody needs to retire at some point. So some people retire and want to cash out, so that will be the kind of the reason to sell. Others got into it by serendipity, and 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 20 years later, they've had enough. They want to get out. So we are targeting these landlords or landlords, whether it's portfolio ones or single owner of a house. And we go direct to them with a very clear offer. So we're obviously we're buying cash, we complete within 2 weeks. More importantly, we can still keep their tenants in, because the last thing the landlord wants to do is to empty the house and leave it on market for about 3 or 4 months before the actual sale complete. So we're taking a lot of the sting out. So ultimately, direct to vendor finance for me is quite expensive. It's not the cheapest of routes. Give you an idea of cost, it's cost us about maybe £1,000 to post out roughly 1,000 leaflets. So it's about £1 a leaflet, which is, when you put, if you're going to post one, it's nothing. But if you post 10,000 over a period of time, we're having to phase them because it costs quite a lot of money. And so it does cost, but ultimately you only need to get 1 or 2 out of the 10,000 that you can get some deals. And what we found sometimes is we've got landlords who are exiting, who've got multiple properties that we've been able to work with them and acquire. So that to me is why direct to vendor marketing is useful. But obviously the cost of it is quite expensive. You've got to be ready. So when the deals start to come, you've got to be able to sift them out and be quite clean. You're targeting. We target in our key areas, which is southeast of England, so London and the home counties. And that's why I always talk about, investing within an hour and a half of where you live. I know loads of people want to go up north because you can buy a whole street for the same value that you buy a house in London. But ultimately, you've got to manage them. If you are managing remotely, you're paying loads and loads on managing agent fees as well as maintenance fees, because the managing agent is making money like a 10% per month, but also it's going to make money as things starts to fall apart in these houses. A tap that you would be able to get your own local tenant plumber to do it in 50 quid will cost you 100 quid remotely. So whilst the property is cheap and lots of people are flocking to the north, it's worth reminding people, if you are living in the south, actually, there's better capital appreciation in terms of the amount that it goes really. The second thing is people want to live in London. There's a lot of jobs in London, so the demand for rent is high. And the third thing is, if you can get and secure some of these properties below market value via those retiring landlords or direct to vendor marketing, then surely it's worth doing, because you're proportionally getting as good of a deal than driving 4 or 5 hours up north. I hope that helps, and if you want to find out a bit more about me and some of the topics that I talk about, follow me on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, etc. See you in the next video.